Hey mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back, it's part 26 of the Project Kit build. And this episode is all about the little bits and bobs, the updates, the attention to detail, the little bits, the bits that take a long time to do. As you can see, Mark's got a bit of a production line for spraying parts up there. The grille, the pedal box, the radiator surround. And at the moment, he is preparing the grille for the kit light, probably the main feature on the car. So that's the pulsing LED light that was kind of KITT's heartbeat in the 80s TV program, if you remember it, if you're old enough like me. So it was actually quite an expensive piece of kit that. It's an aluminium housing. It has LED lights on it and a little computer program to make sure it does all the right flashy bits at the right time, just like it did in the movies. So Mark's just using a propane torch there just to heat it up. They're aluminium housings they are, and they've just been like brazed together. So obviously the grille on the Mini being at a slightly different angle, Mark had to heat that up to take the brazing apart so he could reset the angle there. And just quick look around the parts that are hung up for paint, and that's that light or light housing set at the right angle now. So Mark's just having a go at brazing that back together, which I've never had a go at aluminium brazing before, or I don't think I have anyway. I remember doing it at college, but I don't think that was aluminium. I'm sure it was copper or something like that. I wasn't actually sure you could braze aluminium, but Mark looked it up and you can do. And then I let him know after he went to all the hard work of brazing it that you can get aluminium wire for the MIG welder and run it on 100% argon, and it's just as easy to MIG weld aluminium. Anyway, there's nothing like trying the hard way, is there? So like I said, this is probably going to be the main feature on the car. It's the bit that everyone looks out for on KITT. So it's got LED lights installed in that housing, and they're run to a little microprocessor. So it does all the functions I'm sure you'll be well familiar with. But it's not till it's on the car wired up until you've got it pulsing with the sound as well that you're really going to get an idea of what it's going to, you know, how it's going to fit in with the rest of the car. I'm sure it'll look really cool. The grille that the kit light's going into, I'm sure you probably recognise it. It's nothing special. It was pretty much just a standard grille on I guess, sort of 80s minis, went into the 90s as well, I think. But of course they weren't very popular because they were fitted on the standard cars, so the Mini Cities, Mini Mayfairs, Mini Sprites, things like that. So over the years, lots and lots of people upgraded their Minis and they took those grills off and they fitted Cooper slatted grills in them, which look much nicer. But what it means now is it's very difficult to get hold of those original grills. No one seems to reproduce them, so trying to find a decent second-hand one's a little bit difficult. But Mark did anyway. And as you can see, Mark's got the door cards there. As you can see, they're non-standard door cards. They're glass fibre resin door cards that have been moulded by someone previously. Mark's got very similar door cards in another Mini of his, so must have been something someone had moulding for at some stage and produced a few door cards and sold them. So I think they'll fit in quite nicely with the car, as you can see. And I think Mark comments later, what an awful colour scheme though they were.
Some people got no taste.
Really not a fan of that, red on black like that. Although I shouldn't say that because KITT is primarily black with red. But obviously they're fiberglass resin with a gel coat, so Mark's just keying the gel coat at the moment, ready for paint to go on them. If you spray straight over the fiberglass, the paint will just flake off over time, so you need to key it up. Again, it's one of those jobs that's just pretty boring to do. It's not fantastic to watch either. This section Mark is keying up now is part of the dashboard. So the dashboard comes in two main parts. The bit obviously Mark's keying up at the moment, which is kind of the main part of the dashboard, which goes where the existing Mini dashboard would be if you had a full width dashboard. And then there's a center console part which drops down from the dashboard down as far back as sort of the handbrake lever, so it incorporates the gear lever as well. So as you can see, it's just a plain mould at the moment, so everything needs cutting out. The gear lever hole needs cutting out, the heater needs cutting out, and that centerpiece actually sits quite a bit forward of the existing points where the heater is. So Mark's had to make up some brackets to move the heater forward so it aligns up with those mountings. Lucy lending a hand there. And Mark's just going around spraying it all with panel wipe now. And lint-free cloth just to get all the dust off. And this spray Mark's spraying on at the moment, it's like an adhesion spray, and it's for plastics and fiberglass, and it goes on before the primer, before the base coat, and it just helps adhesion with plastics and fiberglass. It's from U-Pole, so you know it's going to be very good quality and will work. Obviously it's not very cheap. Well, I say not cheap in the grand scheme of things. You know, a £15 can of spray is nothing really. And to make sure you get good paint adhesion first time, you don't get any reactions and that sort of thing, it's worth it. If you've ever painted something and it's flaked off a few months later, or you've got runs or orange peel or things like that, you know, you'll appreciate how important it is to make sure the preparation is done right. When you've had that go wrong a few times, you don't mind spending a few quid extra.
Awful looking colour, eh? All prep ready for black. Or primer. All prepped ready for primer as well. Smoke them.
So guys, we draw to a close of episode 26. Thanks for tuning in. There'll be another episode coming up shortly. These ones are a little bit shorter, not quite sure how to cut them up and edit them. Just trying to keep it all relevant without being a bit all over the place. But thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you soon. Cheers.